Filler patches are getting worse. Oh man, are they?
Every time Genshin Impact drops yet another dry filler patch, the debate resurfaces like clockwork. Some players claim that they love these dry filler patches.
I love when people say, oh guys, great, another filler patch. Now I can catch up on everything that I needed to do. Oh my God. Are you really going to sit here and claim that every patch gives you, oh, there's just so much work to do, man? Yeah, the whole 6 weeks wasn't enough. Just admit the only reason why you need to play catch up is because the game fucking blows.
Say they need them. Their logic, it gives me time to catch up. They use this downtime to clear story quests they ignored for months, finish exploring the 75% of the map they barely touched, or finally build that character they pulled 6 banners ago but never actually used. But then there's the other side. The people looking at this argument and going, hold on, you're celebrating the fact that a game has nothing to do. That's not a feature, that's a
wow, guys, you didn't update your game for this 6 weeks. Oh, congratulations. What great game design. Very cool. Biggest cope I've ever seen. There is somehow a way that Genshin Impact enjoyers make a way to where every bad thing is actually good in their mind. It's fucking so cope.
Problem, because if the best thing about a patch
now
is
I
that
get
it
all
lets
that
you
mint.
ignore it, what does that say about the state of the game? This isn't just a casual debate, it's a fundamental question about game design. Are these dry patches actually beneficial to the player's experience, or are they just a symptom of creative stagnation? Because at some point you have to ask, is Hoyoverse giving players breathing room, or are they just running out of ideas? Let's break it down. First of all, I'm not a game developer yet. I don't work for a gaming company yet. But come on, how hard is it for Hoyoverse to make a decent patch? This is the same company that shamelessly lifts ideas from other games and anime, waters them down, and calls it a day. They have the money, the resources, and the industry dominance to make every patch at least solid. So why are we still getting filler, and why are you still liking it? And
Here's my question. How are they going to make Snezhnaya not suck balls? Because let's be real, Fontaine's exploration sucked balls, right? That whole swimming system, that shit was lame as fuck. It's going to be like a whole ass ice town, right? Where like it's fucking freezing. So are they going to have the Dragon Spine chill mechanic everywhere you go? Unless you buy the new Snezhnaya character where they're used to the climate. And so they only get cold at 1/8 of a speed that's not from Snezhnaya. Make sure to buy the new character today. This character has a sled so you can go faster in the snow.
Let's not act like this is a new issue, by the way. The pattern has been obvious since launch. Every new region gets a big
$300 for a
from
jacket.
0 to 0.3, and then we hit Lantern Rite as a nice little distraction, right? And then 3 to 4 months of nothing. No meaningful story, no substantial content, just events that feel like the developers opened a Google Doc labeled recycled gameplay ideas and picked one at random. In Inazuma, it's the same cycle. In Sumeru, it's the same cycle. In Fontaine, is it the same cycle? Wait, hold on. Something might change here. No, it's the same cycle. Again, and again. And now with Natlin on the horizon, are we really just going to sit here like good little boys and accept this as normal? Let's put it in perspective. Genshin Impact is a $1 billion game. $1 billion. They have the kind of money that should let them obliterate the concept of filler patches entirely. Yet here we are acting like it's reasonable for them to stretch out content just to keep players engaged on fumes. At what point do we stop treating this as inevitable and start holding them accountable for it? But let's get something straight.
I don't think people understand why them being a $1 billion company is such a huge ordeal. Okay, guys, so let's talk. I really want to narrow down on this subject because people actually fucking get it. So the reason why it's important that they're a $1 billion company is because every issue they could possibly have can be solved with money. They don't need to overwork their employees because they can hire more to make sure they have adequate shifts to where everybody can be working at all hours of the day without overworking their employees. And their employees that they have the funds to pay them adequately where they don't feel unjust for their time. Any more ideas, any more creative departments, any other designers, developers, any type of innovators whatsoever, they can just go and get. They're in China. They're in Japan. They're in North America. Their branches speak every single language. They have every single human on earth in this field at their disposal, and they have the funds to pay them adequately. So why aren't they? Because they know they don't have to. And that's why it's so incredibly frustrating when they say, oh, you just want to work all hours of the day? I mean, to be honest, yes. Yes, I do. They have the means to have that many employees, and they could use 1% of their profit, and make an entirely new branch. Guys, I don't think we will fathom how much $1 billion is. Guys, do you know how much money $1 billion is? That's $1,000 million. $1,000 million. Let's say high end, they're paying their designers $80,000 to $120,000. That means they could hire 10,000 new employees for one of their billions. And I probably don't need that many employees now, do they? They have the access, the funding, the know-how to do all of this, but they know they don't fucking have to. Why do you think DeWay is already getting his 6th yacht? Because they've won. Because people accept this shit with a smile and they say, yeah, this is good enough.
Filler patches aren't just a minor inconvenience, they actively harm the game.
Sorry,
People say,
180th yacht.
catch up. No, that's just coping. These updates aren't designed to respect your time, they designed to waste it. Filler patches recycle old content and stall the narrative. Instead of meaningful additions, we get rerun events, time-gated fetch quests, and lore drops that barely add anything. Imagine if your favorite anime just stopped progressing the plot for months. Would you call that good writing? No! Then why do we let Hoyoverse get away with it? Oh, it's because it's an anime, it's not a gacha game. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. Sip Steven. Stop defending your billion-dollar company. Hold them accountable. These dry patches lead to creative stagnation. When the game goes...
Does Sip Steven have these ideas? Because if he ever wants to get into a call, I can make it all make sense to him. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, he probably already has a hard enough life. I don't really want to ruin his fun, but if there's anybody saying they simply can't do that, they're just wrong.
Silent, players stop logging in, momentums die, and the engagement drops. There's a reason people joke that Genshin is in maintenance mode half the time. If nothing interesting happens, why should players care? Low effort patches compromise quality. If mediocrity becomes the standard, it spreads into everything. Storytelling mid, combat mid, events mid, even the character designs mid. If Hoyoverse can push out bare minimum update and still make millions, what incentive do they have to innovate? You Genshin players deserve high quality patches, not placeholders. Genshin is one of the top games in its genre. That means expectations should be higher, not lower. With the money and influence Hoyoverse has, there is no excuse for them to operate like a struggling indie studio.
I really think people forget that it is the #1 most successful gacha game of all time, right? Like, this is what people see as the golden standard. This is what the other gacha games are basing their entire identity off of or using the blueprint for, which means when we allow mediocrity to exist in Genshin Impact, it's going to spread to other games. That's the biggest issue.
If filler patches are the norm, it's not because they have to be, it's because they choose to be. Better updates keep the community engaged. People don't log in just to exist in the game. They need content that actually adds value. New stories, mechanics, and something to look forward to. That is not a radical demand, that's just basic game design. And let's be clear,
I'm trying to think the last time I actually wanted to log into Genshin was. Natlin, I don't care. I kind of considered logging in to maybe get the Sasuke and Naruto VA guy, but then I was like, nah, I'm good. Malvika didn't give me any excitement whatsoever. Probably Neuvillette and Farina was the last time I was like, oh yeah, I got to get those characters and I got to see the story. Before that, probably Inazuma's Archon quest. Oh God. Raiden Shogun's character quest and Yaimiko's character quest was such a fucking letdown. And then before that, probably Dragon Spine. That's pretty much it.
2
in like
months
5
GG.
years of Genshin, there's
Also,
only been like
not
3
to derail,
really
but was
exciting
saying
parts.
earlier that someone took on your 1.0 challenge and props to them, they cleared. I have the link if you wanted to react.
No, they didn't. Because if you're saying that he beat it, and you're sending me a link of this before I click it, I bet you he didn't do it right. What's the challenge? To beat the Spiral Abyss with all 1.0 characters and all 1.0 relics? He did have Rosaria, so technically fair, but everything else was legit. Okay, so what you're saying is he only cheated a little bit. He didn't beat it. Rosaria is 1.4, not 1.0. Yeah, well, he only cheated a little bit, so it's fine. Yeah, no, he cheated. He didn't do it right.
Every patch has to be a game changer, but if a billion-dollar company can't even guarantee that their off patches would still be good, what are we even doing here? But you might need receipts, so let me give you one. The newest Genshin update, the Genshin 5.4, is what happens when a game stops trying. Actually, they stopped trying a few while ago, but now it's getting up again. Characters Yume Mizuki is immediately getting dumped into the standard banner, the patch after this one, which is...
I will say, that character is still super fucking hot. So, I mean, at least they got that right. The pupils are fucking crazy to me.
Basically, Hoyoverse admitting that, yeah, she's not worth pulling. And who the hell is even Sitch Weenie, bro? Who actually want her, bro? Come on. The only good unit this patch? A rerun character, Furina. But hey, what about the events, though?
That's
Hours
rough.
worth of Yap Fest. And then a PNG of Aether or Lumine taking a bath with some Inazuma characters. Yay! A
Wow.
PNG so happy. A TCG update that nobody asked for. UOL features that should have existed 4 years ago. This is an innovation. It's housekeeping. So what do you do after finishing all the quote-unquote content? You log in daily and do your dailies. Yep, isn't that exciting? Only in Genshin, where they are still making the savior of nation run food deliveries. That's right, the same protagonist who has fought gods, saved civilization, and lead.
You know what's crazy? I'm getting back to the point where I'm just like, God, it really is just the same shit over and over and over again. It's honestly a little bit depressing. It really is. It's so fucking depressing.
Yeah, and defied fate itself by fighting the god of Inazuma is being asked to do insignificant and uninspiring fetch quests. What are we doing? And
Yeah, I like Rover because Rover at least gets some clout. And they're like, oh my God, Rover, I heard you. You're going to this fuck.
let's also talk about how painful it is to play your game daily. Genshin, your dailies take so long compared to other games. It's insane. In HSR, you can just spend your energy and be done with your dailies. In Zelda Zone Zero, you can just scratch a card, go coffee, spend your energy, and then be done with your dailies. In Wuthering Waves, you can also do the same thing. So why can't you do the same thing, Genshin? God, why does it have to be commission quests? 4 of them. This patch isn't just dry, it's a wasteland, and people are defending this. Why? You know what? I know the answer. It's because we've been trained to expect mediocrity. They are...
You know what's crazy? I can't do it. It's too cooked. It really is. It is too beyond cooked. And I think for the first time, I don't have the energy to bitch about Genshin right now, man. I really don't. I don't. I don't have the energy to bitch about it. It's fucked. I'm burnt. I'm burnt, bro. I'll wait till the next big fuck up. But I can't hear about it anymore, man. It's just depressing to me. It is. Because there's so many people living in this disillusioned version of reality who are still pretending that it's done anything good towards its players or as the genre as a whole, and it's just like, I'm done. The game is fucking dog shit, and if you just don't get it at this point, good lord, bro. Good lord.